Oh. Hello, and excuse me. Welcome to a sunny morning in Manchester. We had a little bit of rain overnight, but it's quite pleasant outside at the moment. So there you go. Wonders never cease here in Manchester. Right, well, let's kick off. Thank you very much for all the birthday wishes from last week. It was very pleasant to have lots of people say happy birthday to me. Makes me feel wanted. Like I've got some friends. Anyway, so yeah, as you know, the birthday was last week. As a result of the birthday, I got lots and lots of loot. So basically, I got on my birthday a very nice lamp off the wife. It's brilliant. It's really good. It's a massive improvement on the one that I used to have because it clamps onto the desk. But on the other side of the desk, it's like like those mirrors that you have at dentists, where they have the handle on, they pull down. Well, that's what this is like. It comes down and you can angle it, and it's got like a thing, and you can pull the lens up and look through, and it's just superb. It's brilliant. It's revolutionary. So that was the main thing I got, and then everybody else gave me money because they never know what to buy. So I've been buying armies. I bought what I believe is in here is a 15mm Lydian army from about 600 BC, something like that, maybe 500 BC. What's 100 years BC? And this is from Magister Militum, and I shall do an unboxing of that at some point. But I want to do an unboxing and paint through, so I'm not going to. You won't see that for a while. My eldest son, bought me some Welsh at 6mm, and there's one of them. See, and the rest are here. I'm just in the process of basing the army, so that's that. And I bought some more Welsh. I bought a Roman army as well, which is on its way. So I bought a Roman army. I bought the Lydian army. Bought some other bits and pieces, but I forgot what they were because I was in that much bliss. I've still got some money left, and I'm going to be buying finishing off the 15mm Welsh. Sorry, these weren't Welsh. It's alright, my mind's a bit confused because I'm now 48. Even though Nodopolis Prime said I was 45, which I'm very pleased to hear, but no, I'm 48. These are ancient British, not Welsh. That's what my eldest son bought me. Yeah, so it was a good week. It was a good week from that score. So like I say, I got a 6mm army, 15mm army. I ordered another 6mm army. Got some money left, and I shall be ordering some more armies. But I'll come on to this in a minute, a little bit, because there's something else occurred last week that sort of brought life into sharp focus from the hobby point of view. Obviously, yesterday you'll have seen that I drew my competition, and the winner was Night Haunter 123. He won the Mauler Fiend, so that'll be winging its way not to Germany but to Austria. He's a friend of Nodopolis Prime, funnily enough. Small world, isn't it? So that's a well done you. That'll be joining you. Anyway, this will bring me on to the thing that brought me into sharp focus. You may remember that I was talking about my eldest son, and he wanted to get back into the hobby after an absence of some. He's 30 this year, so it would be 12, 14 years. He stopped doing it. And I said that he wanted to get into fancy and stuff. Well, he decided that he didn't. He wanted to get back into 40k, which is fair enough. It's his hobby. He can do what he likes. and he wanted to paint. He wanted Tyranids, so for his birthday, he gave me a list, and I looked at this list and I thought, okay, I can see the I can see the sense here, because he'd given me a decent sized army list, and I went off to Element Games, because Element Games are not far away from where we live, you see. So I thought, well, I'll order it from Element Games because I'll get a bit of a discount, and I know that I can get the stuff from Element Games because I can just go drive down there, and if they haven't got it, I can just, you know, choose something else. So I went down with this list. Now the first edit, bear in mind I wasn't going to buy him a complete army. Do you know what I mean? He didn't want me to do that. He just wanted some, you know, he wanted the Hive Tyrant, some Harpies, some other bits and pieces. You know, they've got some weird names, haven't they? Anyway, so on the first edit, I think it was 6 items, £240. £240 for 6 plastic models. Anyway, that wasn't happening. Eventually I got it down to £160 for 5 plastic models. I couldn't believe it. Anyway, I bought them. But what this sort of focuses in my mind is the fact that I bought last week at 6mm and 15mm 2 complete armies, and they came in total without postage to £57. That's 2 armies, that's 2 complete armies, £57. Which, you know, you could argue is a lot of money, but and I suppose it is a lot of money, but the point is that I can get an army for at 6mm for 20 odd quid. A whole army. Takes me a few days to paint it, and I'm up and playing. I went and bought him these items, and his wife bought some stuff as well. And it's going to take him months to paint. Absolutely months. Even longer because he hasn't painted for a long time. And he still won't be playing because he still hasn't got a complete army. Sort of focuses the mind somewhat, doesn't it, that and he's fortunate because, do you know what I mean, he has people around him that can afford to spend £160 in one drop. I don't think there's that many people in the world that can do that, especially young kids that are getting into the hobby through Games Workshop. I'm not knocking Games Workshop, you know what I mean, but it just sort of, what? You know, it's like one of the things when you know, because when you go to a, you know, like a pub in London, and you say, oh, pint, whatever, and it's 10 quid, you think, what? It's one of those sort of moments. So there you go. That was my shocker of last week. I was quite stunned. Anyway, the wife said, oh, it's always the same when you go to Games Workshop, you know, you go £100 and come out with a bag the size of a postage stamp. So she's right, but you know. Anyway, that's that. So yeah, that was a bit of a shocker. But anyway, it leads me on to something that there's gonna be a bit of a theme over the next few while with me, because obviously you will have noticed that I am getting more and more and more into the small scale stuff, and I am going to be doing the series on the campaign that I'm sorting out, more on that as well, because that will be using 6mm and 15mm figures, and I will use some 28mm figures as well for the gaming portions of that. But I'm going to have a look at 6mm, and I'm just going to sort of compare its merits with 28mm and 15mm and what have you, and I just want to sort of, maybe some people haven't considered gaming on that scale. It's not something, I don't think it's unusual, and I think there are a lot of people that do it, but it's not something that a lot of people consider, especially in our circle, because we don't with that hooked onto the 28mm bandwagon, as it were, that people seem to be a bit sort of oh, how can you paint stuff that small and everything? Well, it's not about painting that stuff that small, is it? You just blob a bit of paint on. Literally that's all it is. It's blobbing on paint. There's no painting involved. As long as your hands don't shake, you can paint one. So, and you could probably paint one if your hands shook. So they're not that difficult, and it's not that, it's to be honest, it looks really cool when you've got an army laid out, and and each stand represents, say, so let's look at scale. Just a quick thing on scales, ground scales. And obviously, when we play a war game, say it's 28mm or 30mm, whatever it is these days, because they are 30mm, let's face it. Each figure is representing a number of miniatures. Now, I don't know what the scale. I don't know. Well, it's 1-to-1 in Warhammer, I think, because you have a squad of 10 men. Not Warhammer, 40k. But anyway, in wargaming, each figure may represent 30 blokes or 10 blokes or whatever at 28mm. So you've got, say you've got, say we're going to use 30 blokes per figure for a standard historic game. So a Roman cohort, or whatever it is, of a century or whatever, I don't know anything about Romans. So say you've got 80 blokes, which is a fighting unit for a Roman legion, right? Or part thereof. That roughly works out to 2 and a bit figures. So every 2 and a bit figures is one of them. Okay. When you do it at 15mm, you might have 4 or 5 figures on a stand representing that. When you do it 6mm, you can have 40 of the little buggers or 20 of the little buggers standing there. So when it all ranked out, it looks a lot better. Do you know what I mean? It just looks really cool. Obviously, you're going to need your glasses to see them, but they just look so much good, and I love it. I think it looks really nice when it's all assembled on the tabletop, and you'll see when I do some battle reports. You'll see what they look like. Initially, I'll be using the DBA rules for the battles. I'm not using DBA rules as in 12 elements per side, whatever, for the campaign. Basically, what I'll be doing is I'll be saying how many people are in the list that appear on the field. Divide that by the number of elements onto using a ground scale conversion. So I'll say, depending on how many people are there, how many bases will be represented and of what type, and that will then dictate the armies, because nobody ever faced off against each other on equal terms, did they? So there you go. I mean, you didn't see people walking out to the middle of the field and say, well, we'll have a 1,500 point battle here, so that means we can have 20 chaps each and a tank. Didn't happen. So anyway, that's that. Oh, there's my alarm. Must be 8 o'clock. So I'll just quickly finish up because I'm waffling a bit now. You won't see much about the campaign for a few weeks yet because work's quite hectic. We've got a busy week this week. I've got my business partner goes to Malta, lucky git, on Friday. So we've got loads of stuff to get done. But once he's gone to Malta, you see, we'll be in support mode, which means that we aren't actually actively producing anything for a couple of weeks, which is good for me because I can sort of sit around just doing support, which is not a hardship. So that's that. So 2 weeks so at the end of the week for 2 weeks. After 2 weeks after that, I'll probably get on with the campaign and do some videos about it, and I'll do the thing on these Lydians. I bought Lydians mainly because that's my daughter's name. I thought, oh, there you go, I'll buy them. Anyway, so it's a good reason, isn't it? That's the musing for this week. Sorry it's not been a brilliant muse because I'm a bit undirectional at the moment. I'm in a bit of a holding pattern. But anyway, thanks for watching. Keep on hobbying. Catch you next week. Bye.